Welcome back to another episode of Lower Keys Living. Today, we're going to take you along as we pack up the angler and head offshore to one of the most popular tourist spots in the Lower Keys and one of our family's favorite places to visit, the Looe Key Marine National Sanctuary. Join us as we visit one of the Key's best snorkeling and diving locations, and we'll take you along for this trip underwater. All right, we're going to take you out and show you where the Looe Key National Marine Sanctuary is located before we take you underwater. So if you're coming out from the Sugarloaf Key or Cudjoe Bay area, it's an 8-mile trip out to the sanctuary. From Summerlin Key, Ramrod Key, it's 6 miles out. And if you're coming up from the east side of Big Pine Key and between Big Pine and Bahia Honda, again, it's an 8-mile boat ride out here to Looe Key. So this is a closer up view of what the Looe Key National Marine Sanctuary looks like. These white dots, I just dropped these on top of the mooring buoy locations. You can see these boats are tied up here to these mooring buoys, and they have these buoys out here because you are not allowed to drop anchors out here. So don't even think about using your anchor out here. They have all these mooring buoys in place to help protect the reef of the live coral that's still growing. So these buoys on this side are all out here on the Atlantic side, the south side of the reef. And then there's 3 here on the inside of the reef. And we've got our preferences that we use based on what the weather is like and which way the wind's blowing. And I'll explain that here in just a minute. The other thing is we will put a link to a couple of the tourist companies that run these big dive boats out here, or snorkeling boats. So if you don't have your own boat or don't have a rental boat, but you still want to come out here and see Looe Key, which I highly recommend you don't miss this on a trip to the Lower Keys, I'll put links to those in the comments below. So you can see all of these finger channels. We like to, if we're on this side of the reef, we like to swim along the deeper water out here. There's loads of sea fans out here, lots of live coral to see. And then we'll kind of swim back along the other way on the inside, or vice versa, depending on which end of the mooring buoys we are tied up. You just get to see so much that's going on in here. We like it, and don't be shocked. There are a lot of sharks that swim out here, and they like to cruise through these finger channels, just looking for fish, and they're cruising up and down through these channels. So don't be shocked. Don't be afraid if you're seeing sharks out here. They are quite common, along with large barracuda, but you see so much of everything else out here as well too. So on nice calm days, we like using these outer mooring buoys. There's a lot more life, a lot more color out here on this side of the reef. But our primary wind direction down here, and if it's blowing hard for a few days out of the southeast, this can be a little rolly and rocky on the boats out here on the south side. So then we'll try and grab one of these 3 mooring buoys on the inside of the north side of the reef. They're really well protected and a lot less rolling action on your boat. These are also great if you have somebody that's afraid of deep water, not really comfortable. Here it's a lot shallower, anywhere from 3 to 4 feet deep where these mooring buoys are, and it's nice, clear. It's broken coral and sand on the bottoms, and a lot of beginners tend to be more comfortable in here. And it actually gets shallower as you go up this way until you're up by the reef, and then deepens out. So it gives people a chance to get comfortable in the water in this area if they're not familiar with it. So that's the layout of the reef. And now let's get you underwater. We're going to take you for a little bit of exploration underwater and show you some of what you can see out here. All right, before we get going, on this particular day, there's only one other boat out here, and they were just getting ready to leave when we pulled up. So we always keep an eye on our boat, know where we are in respect to our boat, and we always keep our family together. We stay together as a group, we keep an eye on each other. Currents can get a little swift out here at times, so safety is first and foremost. And my girls love to explore. They're all over the place, but we always stay together. So if you're out here on one of the guide boats, they do a fantastic job of keeping an eye. Their safety is great. So if you're not comfortable out here, take one of the guide boats out and come out and see this firsthand. On this section, I left the volume up on what we recorded here just to get a sense of how loud and how much noise there is on the reef. All that crackling, popping noises you hear, that's all shrimp that are here inside these living corals in their little hiding places. They're talking with each other, communicating, and letting know what's happening on and around the reef. But it's not that quiet, serene place you'd expect. It is quite loud and quite noisy. Here's a small barracuda just hanging out in the sea fans. He's just hanging out waiting for his next meal to swim by. On this particular day, we came across this stingray in one of the finger channels leading into the shallower area of the reef. You can see all the broken coral down on the bottom. That's a giveaway that we're here on the inside portion of the reef. Coral breaks off, the waves wash it over to the inside protected area. And here is my absolute favorite fish on the reef. This queen angel, their colors are spectacular. This guy was a little shy today, but definitely my favorite fish on the reef. And also, I like these butterfly fish. They're beautiful to see, and it's also kind of a contradiction to me just how delicate these guys look, and they're out here in this very wild place thriving. Here's one of the many underwater archways you can find. Just beautiful to look at. We usually check these out. A lot of times you'll see grouper hanging out under the archways or under the ledges of the coral reef in the shade. And here, if you listen close, this green parrotfish, every once in a while you actually hear a little extra crunch in the video. That's this guy taking a bite off the algae and the growth on the coral. And the parrotfish do an amazing job keeping our coral clean from algae growth and bacteria and really help keep our reefs thriving. You can eat these fish. You can't catch any fish in the National Marine Sanctuary, but people do catch the parrotfish because they do such a good job of keeping our coral clean and vibrant. We never keep these parrotfish. Here's a small school of blue parrotfish around this little coral head. And they're just a reminder of how vibrant all the colors are out here. No, this video just doesn't do the colors justice. And one of our favorite things is coming back to the boat, we always find these big schools of yellowtail snapper. Whatever the reason, they love to congregate around the boats that are out here, and just a great way to be greeted when you're leaving the water. So that was a really short, very, very small portion of what you see out here, but wanted to give you a quick introduction to one of our favorite places. Thanks for coming along today. Hope you'll join us on the next episode.